This is the Grey Area Podcast, talking all things rap and hip-hop from the UK to across the pond. The facts are black and white, but our opinions are somewhere in the middle. We're about the music, not the gossip. Positive more than negative. Quality over quantity. Substance is worth more than clickbait.
The industry, man, it's not the same. Doesn't have to do with talent. It's about playing the game. The industry, real niggas is dying to get in. The industry, just to find they don't fit in. The industry ain't what it used to be. The industry's trying to control the way you MC. They want you to dress like this and talk like that. But I'm going dress like this and talk with the bat. The industry, got your word meaning nothing. The industry, fuck what you heard because he's bluffing. The industry, money, bitches, hate, but I dare you to try to take a fucking thing off my plate. The industry like, wait, but in the streets we like, get 'em. 17 up in that thing, catch 'em sleeping and hit 'em. The industry, if you ain't got a strong mind, the industry will break you down, it's a matter of time. The industry, vultures with nothing to feast on. See me, I'm getting my beast on. The industry, stay in the dirt, play in the dirt, test the wrong one in the industry and you will get hurt. I'm not an industry artist, I'm an artist in the industry. So I do what the fuck I want because nobody can finish me. The industry, wanted, dead or alive, new artists to sell their souls in the way they survive. The industry don't give a fuck about you, but the industry couldn't make a dime without you. The industry, I'm sick of this industry shit. The industry playing them like a industry bitch. They tried to finish me quick, but I am long, so I stand strong. Fuck a beat. Listen to the words in the damn song. I only know how to speak the truth, you know what I'm saying? So I got a little short joint I'm gonna hit you with, you know what I'm saying? And it basically reflects on my relationship with the industry. This is what it is. Often, my words fall on deaf ears. Motherfuckers be listening, but don't hear. Talking to a nigga, he be sitting right here. I be like, where you going? Nigga be like, yeah. Thank you. Give it up for DMX.
That voice, man.
That was sick.
I don't think the industry likes that kind of stuff anymore, you know?
I remember that stuff, man. I remember that was great. When
I remember Kanye's one. I remember all the comedy. I mainly watched all the comedy. I used to skip all this because I had the DVD, so I just skip all the rappers. About what the fuck is that?
So what was everyone's introduction to DMX then? When's like our first memory of hearing him?
In the car.
Well, it's just that voice, some iconic songs like from the first album. If you're talking about like Damien, that just hit me. It just is just a raw voice and just, well, he's just different, wasn't he? And just like the dog sounds. Obviously, I'm not going to imitate because everybody's heard it before. I'm not going to do that again, so I'll leave that out there. But yeah, no, just a raw, passionate voice that you had and that energy that I just gravitated towards that. So. My first memories with Damien, really. That's the first song I heard.
Really?
Yeah. No, I loved it. And then obviously his other hits carried on because Damien for me is such a powerful song anyway. So it's just, I don't know, his voice, man, I love it. It's why when I hear Denzel Curry like that, I'm like, oh, it's like DMX. That's why DMX is so iconic to me. That voice is just. We talked about in the previous episode what makes a great rapper. Well, DMX's voice is just that is what you want, really. I can't say any more than that.
Yeah.
For me, it was Cradle to the Grave, the film.
Yeah.
2003. Yeah.
Oh, I'm so glad someone said
I
that.
swear I didn't listen to him before that because I think I only started listening to hip hop 2005, to be honest. So
probably. But
yeah, I saw him in that. Thought he was sick in that. I loved the songs that were playing. I think they had X Don't Give It To You and Go to Sleep and one more. It was just sick, like Jet Li, DMX, Aaliyah.
Energy.
Right? Oh wait, is that Romeo Must Die? But yeah, sick film. He was so cool in that.
Man, I can't believe I've not watched Cradle to the Grave. I need to check that out.
Oh, that feels
Swear.
sick.
Yeah, I've not watched it.
He's really.
I've heard
he's
about it.
doing
Yeah, I
that.
need to watch it.
Cradle to the Grave is a madness.
I feel like I'd heard DMX before I knew who DMX was because of the hits. Because I remember being in sixth form, so we're talking, maybe 10, 11 years ago, and talking to someone about rap. And they were like, oh, what about DMX? And I'm like, who's DMX? He's like, you don't know who DMX is? So I went home that night, put on some DMX. I was like, oh, okay, yeah, I know who DMX is. I wear the hood at. Yeah, party up, all those ones. But because he was so big at one point in our lives, even if you didn't know who he was, like by name, you would have heard something, or you may have seen him somewhere without
100%.
really knowing who he was, because he was massive.
Yeah, no doubt. That 4 album run was like, he was one of the number one artists in the world multiple times.
Mm-hmm. Yep,
It's sad.
definitely.
I feel like I've got to do a man, actually, just oh my days.
Literally added it to the board just now.
Yo, oh my days.
I've had it ready for time. I just thought maybe save it for the right time.
Yes.
It's sad.
Oh
I
my
feel
God.
like I've got to do a
We needed it for this episode.
Trust me.
Man.
But no, I don't blame
Both
you.
times I thought you were doing it, Theo.
And so did I.
I thought Zoom froze.
That's what mad. I'm like listening to my own voice, thinking, I'm not speaking. What the hell's going on?
Theo froze. Oh my God.
Yeah.
That's jokes, man. Should we hop into Era 1? We just get straight in, man.
Yeah, sounds good.
Let's do it.
So Era 1 is between 1990, well, from the beginning of his career until the year 2000. So we're looking at the beginning of that run. And who wants to go first?
Yeah, that's to say. I guess Mr. Theo. has to
It's
go
sad,
first.
and I feel like I've got to do a Jeez, man. Okay, right.
Don't worry, everyone's gonna have their week, man.
Right.
Everyone's gonna have their week. Right? I get them with the, you know what I mean.
Okay, I'll go first. Let me get my song up.
It's such a hard
Because it was a hard pick. I've got loads of songs from this era, so I've got loads as well. Oh bloody hell, man! To be honest, I was hoping not to go first on this one, but if I'm gonna have to go first, it's gonna have to be the song that I related to the most from this era from DMX, and it's gonna have to be "Slipping."
Still get goosebumps from that.
That song's so powerful. It really is, man. That it's just when you I don't know if you're in that song resonates with me, because when you're in like a struggle or a dark place and you hear him saying it on the song, that song should be, obviously it's like dark what he's going through, but the last verse gives you hope anyway, and that song should be a motivational song for you, that even when you're literally, as he says it in the hook, he's slipping, he's falling, but you've got to get up. That should be motivation enough for you to pick yourself back up and do right. So that song's always resonated with me. It's a strong song.
Great deliveries too. I feel like with him, he always delivers songs like with so much emotion. But it's like everyone thinks he could just do this up tempo thing, but like the same thing in that, you can hear like his pain. You can hear him the way he's delivering the bars, and some of the stories he's telling about whatever happened with his dad leaving and all this kind of stuff. It's the same guy. You can tell it's the same guy. It's not like Drake where you have two sides. Oh, I'm singing now and I'm sad and this. It's like the same rough voiced, hard as fuck dude is like, yo, I go through shit too, you know?
Yeah, definitely.
It's quite revolutionary as well in like the rap scene, which is like hyper masculine, and the type of music he makes as well. To come and make such an emotive song that bears his mental health and all of that kind of stuff. It's so progressive. The people didn't really speak about it like that back then.
Do you think in mainstream rap at the time, he filled the void left by Tupac and perhaps even went a step further in terms of vulnerability?
But that's what a lot of what I was reading was saying, that he kind of, he was in the wake of Tupac and that, and it's like he just picked it up perfectly. Like he was poetic, but at the same time he was gangster.
Yeah, definitely.
The link with him and Tupac is interesting because they're I don't know if anyone after this has done it, but they're the two artists that have released albums in the same year that are both debuted at number 1 on the Billboard. So Tupac's was All Eyes on Me and Don Killuminati, and DMX's were his first 2 albums, It's Dark and Hell is Hot and Flesh of My Blood. They both went number 1.
That's mad, didn't it?
It's a crazy
I didn't
record.
know that.
Yeah, considering the similarities between them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, I was just thinking, like, because I made a list of all the sort of rappers and artists that came out around the same time. So you had Mace, you had Capone and Noriega, you had Puffy's first album came out, you had The Firm, The Lox, Big Pun, Cameron, Cannabis. And then you also had, they were like really kind of his contemporaries, I felt. And then you had people like Missy Elliott, Company Flow, Jurassic 5, Hot Boys, list goes on. In terms of mainstream rap, though, I feel like he really stood out from them. Like, it was kind of the bling bling era, wasn't it? And even artists that were street and whatnot were dressing up in the shiny suits for the video and perhaps not really saying too much. And then you had DMX, who was, I mean, I don't want to say any other names of songs and that, just in case I nick yours, but I don't know about if breath of fresh air is the right word, but
just felt real, didn't it?
Yeah, he did. Well,
yeah.
people from the streets
Relatable.
could relate to it. Yeah, exactly. People from the streets could relate to them. It wasn't like, this guy trying to pretend he's from the streets, but he's all in these flashy suits that people on the streets can't afford anything. DMX was just real. They had someone out there on the mainstream that they could relate to.
Yeah.
I mean,
Definitely.
that kind of, I don't know if it leads on well, but for me, my pick for this era was the song I Can Feel It. Now, bearing in mind that I would have heard this song probably, let's say, for the second time in the last couple of weeks, I was like, damn, for me, this is a standout from It's Dark and Hell is Hot. I was like, damn, like DMX is on some stuff. So, yeah, following on from what we just said, it's kind of, even though that's a down tempo, like you're not going to go right out to that song type thing, that definitely is speaking to like the gangster people. Like he's telling like a real kind of, not even a story, just like a real kind of perspective on the culture that he's left or the culture that he's from. You know what I mean? It felt real. It felt genuine, especially in the third verse where he's kind of giving that whole, it's out of my hands now. I'm done with this type of thing. I'm moving on, but you can still die from this. You know, you should kind of tool up, be ready for these types of things. But for me, the reason why I feel like this song's so like, I wouldn't say it's a good introduction to DMX, but it's so good for me, like hearing it the second time around, because I was just kind of like, I didn't know he had this Tupac-ish side to him, like you guys were saying about how he picked it up and took it from there.
And do we know how like intentional that was?
I don't know if it's intentional. I think it's just a coincidence.
Yeah, I would say it was a coincidence. I don't think it is intentional. I just think there were, I'm not too, I think it's a coincidence, personally.
So with the coincidental, like, did he purposely take Tupac's shoes? I think because he was active actually from 1991. I only found that out today, and I was shocked because I thought his like come out year was 1998, which obviously was with his debut, but he was active for 7 years before that. So he was rapping, like growing up with listening to Tupac and like, wow, this is the top guy of this decade for me. And yeah, that death probably hit him hard, and I'm sure there was a lot of inspiration taken from that.
Sure, see, that's a really good point now, because I didn't even know he was active from 1991. And like you say, when you hear DMX, you do hear that link between Tupac. So that's a great point, really, because death probably did hit him really, really hard. So, and then he thought, right, man,
there's a lot of similarities though as well. Like the energy that he raps with is so similar to Tupac's.
Definitely.
Like
Exactly.
You can't think of another rapper that like hits songs with like so much passion, but not like in a jarring way or a way that like puts you off. Like he sometimes DMX raps really aggressively, and that's to threaten you. But it's like if you're on his side, you feel empowered actually rather than threatened.
Yeah, some of his flows do sound similar to Tupac's, especially in this song. Like for me, it felt a bit Tupac-esque, but then when you look back to that era, there was only really about 2-3 flows going around, and this is the poetic rap flow that he's kind of embodied here.
Yeah, that's the thing with it. It doesn't sound. It's like, I'm glad you said poetic. It's almost like it's on the cusp of spoken word at times.
Yeah,
because as I was listening to that again and the track before, I'm thinking, I'm even though I've heard these songs so many times, I'm struggling to follow like what pocket he's in, because he's just kind of like spewing whatever's in his mind.
He's definitely a poet rapper. Like he's got a lot of songs that follow this structure of like a phrase and then like a rap line comes after, and then like the phrase comes back, then a rap line, and he did it in that poetry slam thing that we watched at the beginning. But there's a lot of songs in his discography that do that.
And then you hear it in the prayers as well through the albums as well. So you can definitely see he's a poetic rapper. Through all the prayers throughout all the albums, they're so poetic in them in itself, really. And you hear it through his songs. So.
I'm gonna be spamming that one, boy. Don't worry, everyone's got one coming up in the next few weeks. I just need to go through and get the best of the best. But Theo, you've been giving us lightning ones. I got another one that I want to add on, but it's not working right now.
So, Kieran, what you got for?
Yeah, go on.
So my pick was Damien because I wanted to show his versatility. What was that comment someone wrote on the Zoom chat? I was zoning on that song. I didn't even get a chance to read it.
He said, "Who did this inspire?" I feel like it inspired Eminem. No, that whole speaking to yourself type thing.
Eminem. I think even Kendrick and Kanye on Blame Games quite similar too.
The one.
I was thinking that because I was thinking, wait, hold on. Looking at the date of this, 1998, whatever, that must have been the first time that somebody was there doing that whole I'm playing two characters thing and doing that whole little high-pitched voice thing.
Even, but it's not just because Biggie done that on Give Me the Loot, I think. But here it's like the vocal manipulation. It's not just like on like a Vox, like a telephone. This is like, okay, I'm a different person with a higher pitched voice. Like I'm this fun little character.
Well, what I'm picking up from this is Damien's clearly the devil. If anybody's seen The Omen and those type of horror films.
Yeah.
But it's like...
He is.
It's a voice in his head that he's trying to not listen to, but he has to listen to. Whereas I feel like every other time you've heard it, apart from with Eminem, it's the person trying to speak reason to them. But this person's just speaking pure madness in their head. Like, hey, go kill these guys. Go kill your friends. Go do this. It's like, whoa.
Yeah, this is the reason why I picked it.
Yeah, I didn't even know I do know that song because I know the hook.
Like the inner dialogue, it's not positive at all. Nah. It's this like inner dialogue of dark temptations that I feel like everyone can relate to some extent in certain things. Like sometimes you just get this feeling like, oh, should I try this or should I do this? And that dialogue that goes through your head in that moment is just painted on this whole song. Like this whole journey that he started like trusting this character's temptations and started following deeper down this rabbit hole of like becoming like the devil's agent essentially.
Well, it started out with like, you do this for me. I'm giving you this, I'm giving you that. But then it was like, oh, I ain't going to go kill my friend. And he's like, well, you said you'd give me your right hand. He's like, fuck it. Okay, I guess I better go do this type thing. It's like he's just damned if you do, damned if you don't type thing.
This is the thing as well. Like on this song, he says quite horrible stuff. And that's quite a common trait in DMX songs. Like a lot of the bangers and just like aggressive tracks, he says really like awful things. But that contrasts with the previous two songs we listened to, where he's saying quite uplifting stuff in the first one, and then like quite like real like observing comments as well. And I think that range is what makes people attached to him, because I feel like if he only did the aggressive stuff, it would just have a certain niche of fan base. But he's got this whole like range of depth of all these kind of things. I feel like you fall in love with the person that's doing it rather than just a specific song and stuff like that.
So I don't know if any of you heard this already, but this album apparently had a big influence on Kendrick, and the song in particular influenced Swimming Pools.
Ah, see.
Wait, doesn't he say it on The Art of Peer Pressure? I swear he drops a line about it on that.
Ooh.
I don't know, but the second he says Swimming Pools, it's making
something. No, there's definitely a line on Art of Peer Pressure, like X in the Whip. There's something. Oh man, I wish I could remember the line.
You're making me want to search this
I'm
up.
looking for it now.
Get Genius up.
Trust me.
Genius ain't saying shit, bro.
Yeah, but that's mad though. I remember that Kendrick did say it was inspired, but then you even look at later songs and see the inspiration even further. Like you only need to listen to you to like get the inspiration even further of like manipulating voices. How Kendrick does it really well. So
yeah, I think X and M were the two that really influenced Kendrick in terms of switching up the voices and that big time. Have we found the lyric yet?
No, I don't see it. I don't see it, but one of you guys.
It rings a bell for me, but I don't know if it's that song.
I don't think it's that song. I was trying to search it. I didn't see it on.
No.
Right. These things happen.
Right. Okay. Oh, that's a classic hook, by the way. Classic.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. 100%.
Because I think it's like, is it referring to like characters in the Bible or something?
I wouldn't be surprised.
I feel like it's kind of that, and then it's kind of just like it's things that go after each other. So snakes always try to get rats, cats always try to chase dogs, and dogs try to, like, it's that whole type of thing. Like,
this is funny thing about DMX. You know, he lives in this world where like everyone's a dog or a cat, and like you listen to him speaking in interviews, and it makes me laugh sometimes. I'm like, like you just have to go along with this world he's in, where like this dog done this, and I met that cat the other day, and he said this to me. I'm just like, what are you on about?
That's his slang, isn't it? His slang is based off that. I guess it shows how old he is in that regard. But
he takes it to another level by like being someone that barks and growls too.
Most definitely.
It's not just like the slang.
But also, I was reading something where apparently because he had a really traumatic upbringing and used to get abused and neglected and whatnot, he would walk around at night and befriend stray dogs. That's why his affiliation and loyalty towards dogs came about.
It's a joke thing then. Okay.
Oh damn.
Yeah. I've lost my train of thought. It's gone.
You were talking about the dogs he meets on street.
Yeah.
All right, I could start.
That was it. I think he said, or maybe it's someone else who said it somewhere. But basically, there's the saying that people don't trust people who don't like dogs, but they trust a dog if they don't like a person, because a dog will have this just undeniable, this relentless loyalty towards a person. That, it won't abuse you unless you train it to. It's not going to sleep with your woman. It's not going to do this. It's not going to do that. You can always rely on the dog. I think that's what DMX said in an interview once, and that's why he just is infatuated with him. Yeah.
I think, should we
maybe
clarify
edit that out,
story?
now I'm like, my train of thought's fucked.
I was going to say, should we clarify that story about the crack thing? Because that was a mad revelation when I was watching the interview.
So basically, he was smoking with somebody when he was 14, and they were like, "Yo, try this." He was like, "All right, cool." And they're smoking, and he was smoking a crack-laced blunt. And from there onwards, he was just addicted to crack.
But the mad thing is that guy taught him to rap, or like encouraged him to start rapping as well. So it's like a double-edged sword.
But I don't understand why people do things like that. Obviously, the person who encourages you to do that type of stuff is mentally ill and, a bit crazy, or, a bit of a psychopath or whatever. But it's like, why would you want to get someone else addicted to drugs with you? It's like, is it so you're not alone?
That's mad.
How does that one work?
Horrific, man.
It's one of the most fucked up things. Like on that interview, when he recounts the story, you can tell there's so much regret with what happened because of that. Because like his whole life got ruined, and I feel like he died because he run his body into the ground at that point as well.
But is it that his life got ruined? Because without it, would we have DMX? I don't know.
Yeah, I know.
He could rap good without the crack. That's the thing.
How do we know?
He wrote those lines. They were sick, and then he smoked the crack.
Oh, okay. But
and his voice was already sick. His voice was already sick, regardless of smoking. Because, like, I'm saying that it's a bit weird, but he had asthmatic bronchitis, which meant his voice was really hoarse. Yeah. So that's the reason why his voice sounds like that anyway. It's not because of smoking.
I thought it was because of smoking crack, because crackheads tend to have that kind of mumble and that low pitched voice. So I thought it was from that. But I mean, shout out to all the people with the fucked up voices. We love you. They sound amazing.
Another connection to Kendrick. Remember the skit in in Good Kid, Mad City where he hits the shenanigans?
Yes.
Oh yeah, I do. Yeah. It's sad.
Can you see that behavior? What is going
on? Sorry, man. Sorry about that. I have no your bitch button anymore. What the fuck?
That was a bit inappropriate.
Yeah. No, I was trying to hit my fucking Kendrick button. Everything's fucked.
We were talking about proper
As
serious
I said, good
things.
luck with this edit, man.
Yeah, they said it's going to be choppy, boy. Hold on.
We haven't even gone past era 1 yet.
There we go.
Right. I wanted to be straight gangster.
What? That sounded. Was that an ad lib? What was that?
I wanted to be straight gangster. I wanted to be straight gangster.
I forget how funny. I clipped these out weeks ago. Next week I'm going to add Sean's ones because I've got too many. Theo's giving us too much. Theo, you got like 5-6 clips and I'm throwing them in now, but it's fucking up the board.
Oh, I forgot to even put that.
Man. That was mad.
Oh, I forgot I even did that. That is funny. Oh, man.
Wait, hang on, where was that from? Which episode?
Yeah.
The UK rap albums one, literally the one I just edited. We were talking about Birdman for some reason. Theo decided it was his time to shine. I want to look at my dad in his face. I want to be straight gangster.
Oh, shit. Man. God almighty. Okay. Right. Here we go. Right, my pick.
Let's keep it together, lads.
Yeah, my pick. All right, so for my pick, I've just gone straight violent. Same album, final track, done started something.
His verse on this is so sick.
I believe for the listeners, the title was
This might be his best verse.
Niggas done started something. Sean is a Caucasian male, so he cannot say these words. And for any of the other listeners wondering, Theo is also a black male, so he can say these words. Kieran is brown, so maybe. I don't know, but I don't think he will.
Lyricism.
Ooh.
Man, he just went off, man.
I mean, you have to. When you've got
That's the thing for me is that we often talk about the passion, the delivery, just the voice in general. We talk about like his vulnerability and that. But there were times in his career where the pen game was so strong, man.
I was going to say, when you got Styles P, Sheik Luch, Jadakiss on the track, you got to go somewhere. And mate, you got to go somewhere. And he took it there. His verse is so long, but it's like, I feel like everyone heard the beat and was like, oh, I want to get on this. He's like, I've already written a whole fucking song. He's like, fuck it, get on it then.
Yeah.
The way he writes his flows so conversationally at points as well. It's like, how did you write? You surely didn't write this flow. It was just like spat like so casually to fill a gap. It's amazing.
Yeah. It feels at times freestyle-esque. But then the other bit that amazes me is just the amount of times he switches up the flow as well.
Yeah, definitely.
Do we know if DMX was a man who sat down and wrote his bars, or if he was a guy that kind of freestyled? Do we know any of that?
I feel like he was a writer, but again, with that one, it felt like they all had the 16, but he just was in a zone and he just went off. Do you know what I mean? That's always the vibe I get from that one.
I'm glad he did that though. He had to own that song as his own, innit? Otherwise,
But it's not even like the only instance of that at that time. He jumped on a few posse cuts around that time. Like we're talking, 24 Hours to Live? Is it 24 Hours to Live? The Mace record? Is it Mace's record? Yeah. There's the LL Cool J track. Is it 4321?
Yeah, I like that one.
The one on the Belly, is it the Belly soundtrack or Grand Finale? Something like that.
Oh yeah, Grand Finale. Yeah, I know.
There's a few. There's a lot where he just jumps on there and goes mad. But yeah, I just wanted to give his his pen game some love, really, along with all the other things we've discussed.
Yeah, man.
I've always loved that track.
Following on from your whole pen game kind of thing, I think I'm next. I think I'm first, anyways, now because I went second last time. But my pick from the second era, are we jumping to the second era straight away? How are we doing this? I don't want to.
Yeah.
I thought Sean wanted to discuss it. Just.
Yeah, I did want to ask one thing before we go on. Is that where does this run rank with like the greatest runs in hip hop?
It's up there.
Is it right up there?
It's definitely up. It's definitely up there. Definitely up there.
In hindsight, I didn't think these albums were that good, but now I'm like, what the heck?
Yeah, you've got the same train of thought I have, Kieran. That's exactly it. But when you go back and you delve into and you like listen to it like back to back to back, this run is actually ridiculous. Like it's actually, and I never thought of it like that. If you were to ask me what's the greatest sort of album run, I wouldn't have even mentioned DMX. But now you can't leave him out of the discussion.
It's the singles as well.
Yeah,
there's so many hits, and they get better as well.
Yeah, that's the crazy thing. Like, how are you dropping like absolute bangers, and yet they do just get better as it transcends into the next era?
Well, everybody knows DMX's big songs, but like these songs that we're playing aren't even the big songs. They're just good songs off his albums, which have like a lot of tracks on them. And when I was going through listening to all of them, I was like, damn, DMX got a lot of bangers here. Yeah. Like bangers that I'm sure I slept on.
Yeah, because we haven't even spoken about anything from, and then there was X.
Yeah, exactly.
Obviously there's the big singles off that, but there's tracks like The Professional where it shows off his storytelling ability as well, where he's talking from the perspective of an assassin. But I feel like there's kind of different types of runs. You've got people like a Drake or a Hove, where there's just mad longevity. They've just gone on and just been at the top of their game throughout their career. You then got, I guess there's some more underground ones, people like MF Doom or Run the Jewels, where it's just back to back, high quality music. But then there's people like, and I always think of two people. I think of 50 Cent and I think of DMX, where it's just this, it's almost like this short period of time where they're so huge, like it's like this explosion.
It's like what Future did, right? I think he had a similar type of run.
Yeah, I guess so, yeah. No, you're right, actually. Maybe like 2013 to 2016, 2017.
Crazy output for like 4 or 5 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I feel like the quality didn't lack going through the rest of his career. And that's one thing that, is quite difficult to maintain. If you come out so strong with so much good like music, considering what Kieran said earlier about it both albums going platinum or something like that,
both went number one even.
Oh shit! Okay, I didn't even know that. Number one and
all of his albums went platinum in this. All of them, I think, all 5.
And back then,
the first 5 did. Yeah,
that's not a joke back then, because that's however many thousands and thousands of people buying that shit. Like physically going somewhere and buying it. It's insane when you think about it.
Yeah, I think the second album sold like 800,000 first week or something like that.
That is insane.
Crazy numbers.
Yeah, that's mad. That is mad. Look, especially back then, 800,000 in the first week. That is ridiculous.
And the only lead-up single was "Slippin'" as well.
Bloody hell. No, that's mad.
It always makes me wonder, what was it like back then? Because how do you hear about music? Do you know what I mean? There's no internet, nothing. What are you doing? Walking into HMV or your local record shop and the guy's like, yo, there's DMX shit. You got to buy this one. Like, how do you know what I mean?
The hip-hop community was at like a peak though, because you just had Biggie and Tupac, right? And they just died as well. So people were looking for a void to fill and it had expanded past just like a small community at that point.
This is true. Because around that time you would have had like Beastie Boys. I know that's not really a big like hip hop name, but you know what I mean? Like you would have had a lot of like commercial rap, but I guess this is that real shit, quote unquote, DMX was feeding the streets, as it were.
Right. Era 2.
Yeah, from feeding the streets, I've got to go for what I'm deeming to be a classic from this second era, Who We Be.
That song got me through some aggressive adolescence,
Mate.
Every time I was pissed, I'd put that song on.
That song is just so hard.
This is why I was like, does he write this down? Because you would have to write that. You can't just freestyle.
No, you would have to, because you
that's
can't.
A poem.
The way he's going
amazing
through
because
the story of the beginning, he starts off, keeps going. Every verse is like a mad story. Then the third verse, he goes into his own personal life. I'm like, what the fuck, bro? But
it's mad though. It's the way how he's wrote that as well, because it's not just the rhymes, it's the schemes as well when he's doing it. You hear the rhymes and then you hear the schemes where he goes off those little, like, there's 4 sort of bars there that is its own scheme. Then there's another scheme. Then there's rhyming again. Then there's scheming again. How are you just writing that all down? It's mad.
It's like the free association with it as well. Like he's like listing stuff that starts linking together and it creates like this deep picture of like a commentary of something.
Yeah.
I'm so glad someone picked that, but fuck, when when you're getting old, because my neck is fucked after that.
Yeah, I got a headache.
My neck.
I saw you guys going.
Jesus.
Shaw was doing the mad producer neck. He was going.
I'm
done.
Kanye on the plane.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, on the plane. Listen, that song if that song doesn't get you hyped, then there's something wrong.
Definitely.
There's something wrong. Great pick.
Yeah, to be honest,
my neck.
Going back through and listening to all this is why I kind of got stuck in this era, because I was like, this era bangs. Like, I listened to this Great Depression album so many times. I listened to it like 3 times.
I think the album's amazing. I really love the Great Depression. I think it's a brilliant album. I kept actually going back to it.
There was 2 other tracks I wanted to pick. I'm not going to mention them because someone else might pick them, but I was like, whoa. I'm just going to go with this one. This one's bumping the hardest.
Wait, so what is it about this era then that you like the most?
I just feel like it all what he was trying to do in the first era came together in a lot more like aggressively in this era. I know he's not like in the first era, he's not really that aggressive guy, but in this, it's like he's perfected the whole like.
The range was deeper as well, right? You felt his story and what he was trying to say with aggression and deepness.
Yeah,
the bipolar was there.
Yeah, it's energy. Like it's a mad energy that he's giving you.
Yeah. Because there's loads of songs of this album that, honestly, they get me hyped. Sorry, Sean, do you carry on?
No, it's all right. I was just going to say, it's interesting you say that, though, because some people, he gets criticism in this era because his focus wasn't fully on music. And some people say they could hear that during this time. But I picked up on the aggression as well. It was like not just aggression through his, you know, his life and his experiences, but towards that criticism. It was like, I don't know if he felt it was unjust or unfair or whatever, and maybe he was taking it like some of that aggression was aimed towards his critics. Maybe I don't know. I don't think it's as bad as some people say.
No, because that's in the lead up to it. That's what I mean. You are right. A lot of people criticize this album, but I can't see why they criticize it because I do not see The Great Depression as a bad album at all. I actually
just
really
in general, though,
enjoy this album.
But I guess maybe it's like that sort of retrospective journalism where people kind of make stuff up because he was having more troubles with the law and drugs and things like that. And he was doing films and people go, oh, so he wasn't really focused on the music. But then you think, have you heard songs like this?
Yeah, exactly. That's what I mean.
Are you listening?
Yeah.
I don't actually know who's next.
I think it's Kieran.
No, I'm last on this one.
Or maybe I'll go next then.
I don't know.
Yeah, and then I'll go third.
Is that all right?
Who cares?
It's cool by me.
Yeah.
All right, okay.
Fine.
All right, cool. I'll go next. My one is something that hits hard at the minute with, you know, only like a month after he's dead. A Minute for Your Son.
I just want to say that's a very good gospel track from DMX. Now, it's a controversial opinion, but it's technically a gospel song. I was looking through the lyrics as well. There's no swearing in it as well, so I guess that could play in church. I'm not joking.
It probably could, you know.
It's a banger.
Yeah, a few reasons for me. One was in the hope that someone would pick Damien because I feel like it's a direct contrast to that. You know, obviously with Damien, it's talking to the devil. This one's talking to God. It's a bittersweet one for me, and it was quite a tough listen when I first went back to the album for this, because I don't know if the right term is at peace, but he seemed to have kind of like accepted his mental state and what had happened in his past, and almost like forgiven in a sense, I guess. And it sounded like a man who was really on the up in a sense. And then to see where not only his career went, but where he went and obviously how he's passed away, it's quite difficult listening to that. But then like you hit like a line like, what does he say in there? He says stuff like, it doesn't rain anymore, only sunshine, no pain anymore. And you think, I wonder if I hope that is how he feels now. Do you get what I mean? Or how he felt.
It's the type of song that
passed away.
He'd want to put on when he's feeling bad still. Like, because he's bound to go back into that dip again, right?
Yeah.
So the lyrics are so positive, projecting like, this is what the state that I achieved one day. So let me get back to that.
Kieran, that's exactly what I was thinking a couple of days ago when I was re-listening to it again. I was thinking like, when he was in a bad way, I wonder if he went back to this song and songs like it. Because he clearly was in a better mind state when writing it, I guess. I mean, I've never been an addict or anything like that. You know, I've not gone through the sort of traumas that he has. But to write something like I said, it's not at peace, but there was like this feeling of acceptance and I don't know, like positivity in there.
I got that from Kendrick I as well. What Kendrick says about I is like he only made that song because he was actually feeling like You, which is like the rock bottom, and he puts on I to like pick himself up. I feel like it's quite a similar dynamic with that.
Yeah, there's a lot of crossover with those two, more than you think, like more than you first think. I mean, and then the other line that stood out to me as well, especially when I was, you know, watching clips of the memorial and just the sort of response to him passing away, was when he says something like, "The way you live in me is the way I live in them," or something like that. Something like that. I can't. I'm probably misquoting, but he says something like that in the song, and it makes me when you saw the reaction like the people outside the hospital and just the response on social media to him, you know, being ill and then passing away, you think this man really, really made a huge impact on people.
He's made a lot of music to pick people up, definitely, and like get them through dark emotions that a lot of people are afraid to talk about. I think Childish did a tweet the other day saying like, you don't see good creation anymore because people are afraid of being cancelled. So they're not making like bold experimental choices anymore. And I feel like DMX didn't have any of those fears. And that might be one reason why he started having that downfall at the end of this era too.
Maybe, yeah. Right, who's next?
but I guess it's myself. So it's another song from this album, and to be honest, it's another heartfelt one. But this one again resonates with myself. So it's that "I Miss You" song is another link to Tupac as well. To be honest with you,
this was my other pick. Funnily enough,
I consider this like DMX's Dear Mama, 100%.
Slept on production, this album.
Yeah, definitely.
Faith Evans is a easy pick if you want your hook done right. She supported so many classics.
Yeah.
Yeah, honestly, I just think that. So, well, again, it shows DMX's like versatility, in this song, because I think the notion is to, like, I don't know, the casual fan, when they hear DMX are aggressive bangers and everything, but this shows you where when he's vulnerable, he's lost someone that truly meant something to him, and you hear again where Sam said it is, again, it's the delivery of how he writes. Well, it's the delivery in his, like, sort of, they're not punchlines, but just the way he's flowing as well, and you hear the pain in his voice, and it's just, I don't know, anyone who's lost a loved one, you can resonate with that. It's like how I love Dear Mama, and I think it's DMX's Dear Mama, really, and it's just, wow, it's just powerful, really. You hear him saying, I want to go to heaven with his grandma. He's talking about God again. It's just beautiful, really. It's actually a DMX song that is beautiful, but no one would put the two together, if you know what I mean.
Well, yeah, you wouldn't expect something like this from DMX. And then the way it comes off, it once again, it feels genuine, because he doesn't really get aggressive on this, but in the same way, it's like he gets kind of mad at himself in certain places, which is understandable. But he's very kind of emotionally available, I guess, which is not what you expect to see from such a thuggish guy.
Kieran, you got anything to add?
No, I'm just like deliberating my pick next.
Oh, I'm treating like it's one of the battles, man. Man's like,
to be honest, sorry. To be honest, that's not one of my favorite DMX tracks, but I appreciate how incredible it is.
Yeah.
Maybe just because I can't relate to it.
Yeah, fair enough.
Fair enough.
I mean, that's
should we wait whilst you're deliberating? Whilst you're deliberating, should we quickly clarify this era? Because I don't think we did that.
Let's talk about that.
This is between 2001 to 2009. So you're looking at DMX's next 3 albums and, you know, the various singles that came out around that time.
This is arguably where he made the most of his bangers as well.
So the thing is, look, I think because we grew up in this era as well, his singles that he'd released at the start of that decade were playing the whole decade. All the way up 100%. Until 2010. Like everything was on MTV and all the music channels and radio and everything. So for us, we're living through it like, wow, DMX is in his prime. But actually, you look at the releases he's had and it actually just stops at 2003.
Yeah.
Then you have a 3-year break until that album. And I think there was only one takeaway song. It's not even on Spotify. You can't listen to the album.
No, it's not on Spotify. I had to listen to it on YouTube, you know. But there's no real takeaways from that album.
Except
like
one.
you said, that
As I said, there's definitely one.
Do we know why that's not on Spotify, though?
I don't know.
There was some sort of label difficulties at that time.
Yeah. Was that surrounding Jay-Z as well?
So Jay-Z took over Def Jam after the Grand Champ came out. So 2003, 2004 time. That's why he retired. Then he was like, I'm going to support DMX on this label. But none of that happened. And like 2 years down, when DMX was ready to drop the album, and they'd recorded the video for the first single, I guess it was Lord Give Me a Sign, the label was like, no, we're not going to put this out anymore because you're too focused on drugs right now. Yeah. And that probably was the reality of the situation. Like we know
what I'm seeing here, in this period, he went to jail 5 different times, or he was arrested 5 different times.
That as well. So knowing Jay-Z, that businessman, he was like, I need to distance myself from this because I need to keep it professional. Like obviously DMX was moving unprofessionally. So yeah, something mad happened. He had to leave that label, join Columbia, and drop the album a year later. The rollout was just weird.
Because didn't DMX accuse Jay-Z of sabotaging his career at that point?
That was a bit, I don't know. There's something a bit crazy about all of that though.
He's talking to a druggie here though as well. So it's like he's looking for any excuse to make
his reasoning is that Jay-Z didn't want him to rise higher. That just sounds crazy.
Yeah, I've read that, and again, it's like this retrospective journalism again, where people say that DMX was a threat to Jay-Z, so he sabotaged his career. But I feel like his decline had already started at this point. Like DMX at his pinnacle was the late 90s into the turn of the into the new millennium, That was his absolute peak.
You have to imagine as well, this time, Ja Rule's popping up and,
50 Cent.
Yeah, 50 Cent.
But I'm thinking about
Biggest
people
thing on
with
the
a
planet.
similar voice and the similar style of music.
Oh,
Ja Rule is popping up, and it's like, for Jay-Z, he's like, am I going to push DMX, who's got all these fucked up problems, probably going to go to jail and all this kind of stuff, or can I push Ja Rule? And as you know, Ja Rule took over in the early 2000s.
Yeah.
But this is why I'm saying it's inaccurate. Like, I'm going more on the, like what Kieran said about the drug use. I think that's probably the more accurate explanation, because at this, we're talking, 2006? Ja Rule wasn't popping at that point.
Yeah,
50 Cent, not 2006.
Yeah, he was. You might want to check that.
Really?
Ja Rule was popping in 2006.
Ja Rule was popping in like 2001, 2002. And then 50 Cent came along.
2006.
He might have had a few late bangers.
There might have been the track with R. Kelly around them, but even then I feel like
let's not talk about that.
You mentioned his
Kelly.
name.
That's someone.
Wow, I can't believe it. Hey, man.
I'm not even going to beep that out. That one has to stay. R.
No,
Kelly
but
could stay.
I'm just saying, I don't think that DMX was a threat to Jay-Z's career at that point. I think,
But I'm saying to pick out the two, because of the whole Murder Inc. thing with them three, I think that Jay-Z was just like, let me stick with Ja Rule.
Pick Ja Rule, yeah.
I'm not saying what you're saying is wrong, but I'm saying from what I think, like what I see.
No, I know what you mean. It's from a business perspective, he's probably thinking, it's not only a safer pick, but Ja Rule had a mad run in the first half of the 2000s, but they also had a bit of a beef, didn't they? Because of the similarities in the voice. Didn't Ja Rule accuse DMX of copying him, or vice versa, something like that? There was some.
But how can Ja Rule even say that? That's some madness. That's what really annoyed me when I read that.
But New
Outrageous.
York was a mess, really. New York was a bit of a mess at that point. Everyone was at each other's throats, and
There was
you can
too
see
many
how
rappers.
the South came along. And
There's way too many rappers.
50 Cent didn't give a fuck. 50 Cent wanted that. He wanted to cause the chaos.
50 Cent was different. 50 Cent was just something better than everybody else that came before him. It's just a shame he couldn't.
He fell off
maintain
quick,
it.
though.
Yeah,
exactly.
exactly.
He did fall
maintain
off quick. He did fall off mad quick, man. Because after Curtis, that was it. It was a wrap, man. You didn't see this guy again.
when Kanye...
Curtis doesn't really have that many takeaways, though.
No,
to
he
be honest.
doesn't. It doesn't. But
Do you remember that whole thing?
IO Technology held on for a bit. That was the only.
That
real
was a
single
banger.
to get Curtis, yeah. But then, he dropped off mad quick after that, man. Oh,
That was the real shift, wasn't it? Because I remember that was they did the whole, I can't remember what magazine it was, where they had Kanye and 50 Cent face to face.
Yeah.
They were released the same day, and Graduation sold more records on the day.
Obviously.
And that was like the shift in the culture, I think.
I mean, to be fair though, with 50 Cent around that time, he did start acting as well, and he's not a bad actor. Let's say he's all right.
Yeah, and he was involved in different various
Business.
business ventures and whatnot. Yeah,
He went a different.
he's not
route.
lost. He's not lost.
He fell off musically though, which is disappointing. But he came back with a banger in the last 4 years with the Power theme song. That song's
the
hard.
Power theme song is amazing.
That
You heard
song's
the
a bang.
remix as
I
well,
love it.
though.
Nah, I don't need to hear that. I heard the Trey Songz version, and I was like, "This is terrible. Why would you take Joe off and put Trey Songz there?"
No.
He did that on
no.
purpose. I feel like 50
Yeah,
Cent
he
is just
did.
playing a mad troll game now for the rest of his life.
He was. But that Power theme song, this is the big
vibe.
rich town. Oh, jeez,
Theo's
man.
just giving us more and more clips. He doesn't even realize it. It's the whatever is in that cup. Yeah, he's on that little Wayne juice.
Kieran, what are you giving us then from this era?
I got two really incredible records, and I got like one personal one.
Well, you're only allowed to pick one, to be honest. So you got to narrow that list down.
I'm gonna shout all three out, but pick one. But
It's your pick, man.
I allow it. So, I need some help. They're
All
all
right,
really,
well-
really incredible tracks.
Have any of them got energy, high energy?
Lord Give Me a
All
Sign
right.
does, and no, The Rain kind of does, but it's in a different way.
The
and
rain is a
No
banger,
Sunshine
though.
is just that vibes. Like those three, I just love those songs so much. I don't know which one to pick, but
Okay.
The Rain I
have The
think
Rain.
is a sleeper.
No, the rain
It's
is.
I
I don't
Rain.
think a lot of people know that
Love
song,
that.
and
Oh,
that
it's so
song is
hard.
absolutely incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry. Another area where DMX deserves his flowers is hooks.
I was going to say,
that
it almost sounds like a
just
slave song,
unbelievable.
if you hear what I mean.
Oh no, I hear that completely. Definitely,
Sounds
it
like
does.
a kind of like a chain
Yeah.
gang type vibe of like,
Exactly.
you could have a whole bunch of people behind you say that, oh, yeah, You know what I mean?
That's
Yeah, exactly. No, it is. Yeah, no. That's even giving me goosebumps, really, because you could imagine it. They could be all on like. It's going to sound really deep, but you could imagine they're all on the slave ships, all chained together, and they're all like, "Now I know, only I can stop the rain," and just like, honestly, I don't know, just that power though, and just inspiring everyone. That definitely resonate with that. That's fire. I'm not gonna lie. That's got me gassed.
I'm telling you. Why are you laughing? You laughing because of what I messaged?
No, that was honestly, I can just picture it, man.
No, honestly, that part of the song feels anthemic, yeah. And I feel like that's one thing DMX is probably a professional at, is like what Sean said, hooks. But not just good hooks, like hooks that you hear it once, you hear it so many times that by the end of the song, if you hear that song once, you know that hook now.
Infectious.
100%.
Yeah, like he sings a lot of his hooks incredibly as well. But I think this one's my favorite hook because at the end with the harmonies, he hits levels you didn't expect him to do as a rapper that sings as well. This is beautiful. And I feel like this song for me, kind of like Who We Be, grasps that emotion of aggressive anger that he feels. This one here grasps like that. It's like, it's sad, but it's like celebratory in that sadness. Like I've learned how to, I might not have overcome depression, but like I've learned how to like hone it and live with it and like master this feeling I'm feeling as well. So it really resonates with me like that. I also feel like it just, every line adds a different depth as well. Like it feels like his whole career he's talking about like this bit, like the streets, my feelings inside, all these people out there, the police. Like he keeps going to different areas of the struggles he's had and like how he's overcoming all of that.
Yeah, that's interesting. See, the thing that I interpret from it is, and when you think about, I mean, I don't know if we've all kind of dealt with people in our lives who are either an addict or have gone through something, but just continue going down that path. And you often hear the phrase saying, you know, they're not going to get better until they help themselves. That's the thing I got from that. It's like he's got all these demons and whatnot, but he knows that none of that's going to get better or change until I make the effort, until I stop the rain. That's what I always get from that.
Yeah, it's taking ownership of all that like badness and like negativity he's feeling. I need to change that.
Well, at the end, it changes.
Yeah.
He says, only I can stop the pain. That's like the last time he says it. He doesn't say only I can stop the rain. He says only I can stop the pain. But I guess the rain has that feeling of sadness, weight, all that kind of stuff. But it's definitely like, you can see him kind of struggling through the rain in that whole song.
And the other thing as well, these songs have aged incredibly.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, big.
I don't think they sound dated at all.
No, the production's beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Well, that's era 2, isn't it?
Yeah, era 3 is a bit of a struggle for me. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Yeah,
I think like
this was
Lord Give Me a Sign was his last hurrah of like record producing, because that song was incredible. When the gospel comes at the end of that, like mind blowing.
Yeah, no, I'm glad you mentioned that because that was the standout for me of that album.
There's obvious honourable mentions from this period too, where the hood at.
Oh yeah.
You know,
Get It On the Floor. That's
Get
one of the
listen to that.
the craziest bangers I've ever heard. Still,
man, I've just knocked the mic over because it's that hard. Man.
Everyone secure your laptops and all your expensive goods. We're about to go somewhere.
Let's get it on.
Okay, that's enough of that. But imagine, you're in the
Still
club.
goes off.
Imagine you was in the club the first time that song drops. You would have ripped the speakers down and burnt the whole place to the ground.
yeah.
We need to check what day that song came out and see how many fires there were.
But that's the mad thing. You're so right with that because I've been in the club when that song goes off. So when you mention that coming out for the first time, there would have been chaos, man.
Crazy, yeah.
That reminds me of that Future line. When I drop an album, the crime rate increases.
Jeez.
Yeah, I'd hear that and have to go buy a gun immediately.
That's
I was going to say, I wonder if that was like the equivalent of POW over there. You know how like when POW came out over here, it got banned from the clubs and all that. I wonder if people went mad to that one as well.
Some songs just like speak to your inner instinct, and that is one of them.
Oh, definitely, man. If I hear that in a club,
props to Swizz Beatz though, because
he
he tapped into some different energy on that.
Yeah, trust me. You never want to climb the wall there. I ain't gonna lie.
man.
You see what I mean, though? Yeah,
The energy just went mad. I just remember that dropping in the club. I just lost my shit. I'm not gonna lie to you, man.
Put you on some exorcist shit. Your head just spins all the way around. And
It's like a mosh pit thing, isn't it?
It is a mosh pit thing. Oh man, honestly, started just anyone next to me was just getting like left and right hooks.
Song's mad.
It's no wonder like fighters walk out to this music, like Anderson Silva and Tyson.
Well, the thing is, with this era, he definitely perfected his hit making kind of potential here.
100%.
Like he just understood what he needed to do and did it right. Was working with the best people in the industry. Do you know what I mean? Like I'm looking through Grand Champ, and that album's got a lot of bangers on it.
I think he recorded a lot of it really quick as well, because I watched the interview of him with GQ, I think, and they would ask him about some of his classic songs, and he was just like, "Yeah, I did it in 20 minutes." Yeah, like just like really, just like off the cuff.
When I listen to this album, it feels a little bit like, oh, I need to get off this label off my back kind of thing. I need to just put this music out. Like it feels very commercial, but also so refined, like Sam said, that it's undeniable music all throughout. I don't feel like the sequencing works on this album. That's probably what holds it back. But
I mean, do you think it was really sequenced? A lot of good songs. Because I don't feel like it was given the same attention like what Sean said.
I really don't think so.
Yeah.
But it's bangs though.
Yeah. But yeah, moving into the final era, which is 2010 until his, unfortunate death. This was sad listening to. I'm not going to lie, this was quite sad because you could just hear a difference in his voice. There wasn't the same strength. There wasn't the same skill level, knowing all the things that went on. This was a struggle, this one.
He was having health problems on like every front, right? His lungs, his brain, his heart, apparently.
Yeah.
He lost a lot of weight too. For a man that used to be quite athletic, and Tony became mad skinny. So I thought it was just the drugs, but clearly it was stuff I didn't know, like the health conditions and stuff.
I remember watching his first Drink Champs when he went on the first time. He had the white vest on, and he looked so gaunt, and his voice was high pitched and really weak. I thought he was done then. I'm not going to lie. I thought like we were going to get some bad news around that time.
That's like 2 years ago, though, isn't it?
But yeah, 2-3 years. Definitely no longer than 4. But he got better again. He put on weight. He sounded better. He was making music. Apparently, this new album that's coming soon, or maybe out by the time we drop this, it's he's kind of returned to form and that. But
the thing is, like, what can we expect for someone with asthmatic bronchitis, though? Like, he's someone that, like, as a kid would have sleepless nights because he just was wheezing constantly, couldn't breathe. Like, I saw him trying to like show how he was used to breathe. It was like that. Yeah. Like, if you're sleeping like that, like, how can this person even rap? But he actually did a lot with that.
Yeah, I guess that. Yeah, exactly. And that's what kind of. That's how I try and think, is that this man, with all the things he went through and had to deal with throughout his whole life, the amount that he achieved and the impact that he's had on people in 50 years, and to live that long as well, considering the things that he's been through. I mean, don't get me wrong, he's passed too soon, but he really made the most of life. He really did. There's plenty of people out there that go through less than what he has and don't, do a fraction of the things that he's done. So,
well, he battled addiction for 30 odd years. That's a hard struggle. A lot of people don't even make it past the first 10, apparently. So 3 decades of struggling with drugs and the health conditions on top.
It's crack as well. Like, that's the most addictive thing you can have.
Crack so hard.
It changed his life.
Yeah,
man.
I'm not gonna lie. I don't have a pick from this era. I don't have one.
Well, like we should probably clarify for the how many listeners we got?
Nah,
India.
Shout
out.
Yeah. Big up India.
Just re-say that. Say to shout out to the Indian listeners, man. Cutting that bit out. That was harsh. Wow. 5,000. You got to think to the future, man.
I'll rewind. Okay.
Can you see
so we should probably clarify.
What is that?
It's sad, and I feel like
we should. No, I thought you were going to drop that again.
I wanted to be straight gangster.
Oh man, right, okay. Back in the zone. Yeah, we should probably clarify for the listeners that we haven't just picked or we haven't just considered songs from this time period. We've also thought about his features and whatnot, because there is so few tracks here where, try not to disrespect the man, but he wasn't well. He wasn't in the right frame of mind. He wasn't physically in a good place. So yeah, you might get some features from years before during this time. But who's first? Is it me?
Probably.
I thought it was me.
Oh, is it you? Oh yeah, you did say it actually before. Yeah,
I think it is Kieran.
Yeah. It was me because I went last time.
Okay.
So my pick was Last Hope, which I don't know. It makes me feel nostalgic. I can't explain why. Maybe it's a cover. I don't really know, but it really does. It bangs like the heyday DMX. The song it gives me goosebumps because it's like it shows the potential that he has like at any moment in his career, because he's just that good. He could just bring back that essence from the past. I feel like it's almost as good as how he used to be. There's moments when he's kind of like tripping over his words because he can't do that quick flow, the conversational bit he likes to do, but it's close to perfect still.
He's reflecting on his life as well. He's doing that thing he likes to do where he's open and honest with the listener, but he's also kind of very introspective, I guess. Like he's not preaching. He's more so just looking at himself and going, "Oh, I fucked up."
It feels even more mature than earlier as well with the introspection.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, that's a nice track.
Yeah, very nice. Right, so I was going to pick something from Undisputed, but when I thought that we could pick out some features, I was going to pick this one. I mean, I could pick the classic one, but I have a feeling someone's going to pick that, so I'm going to pick my other one. So I've picked Come Back in One Piece.
I mean this in a good way, but what a strange song.
It is a very strange song.
So different.
The beat is odd.
Yeah, but that's what I mean. That's what I kind of like about it, because it's DMX again being on a different type of beat, because the beat is very odd. It's very odd. It's not like it's not a normal beat, and it's the fact that he almost compliments Aaliyah as well. That's what I like about it. He doesn't sound out of place at all. You almost think the mix up, like him with Aaliyah wouldn't work, but it does work. They actually complement each other, which is You put it on paper, you don't think it's going to happen, but it happens. So that's what I like about it.
Yeah, rest in peace, Aaliyah as well. She was
precisely. Well, she was phenomenal. So
that's unfortunate, isn't it? Imagine she's got one album that I know of, and it's got so much bangers on it, and then she's just gone.
I think she's got 2 albums that one's not on Spotify.
I don't think she's got any music on Spotify. Like none.
Oh wait, yeah, that might be.
I don't know why though. Like there has to be another story behind that one, but she's got no. Oh yeah, she's got Age Ain't Nothing But a Number.
Oh yeah, but she has not got the other albums.
One in a Million, I think.
Yeah, the one with the red cover.
Yeah,
I don't know where that one is.
Do you know what's just hit me? Is that as much as we're saying about DMX going too soon and going through everything that he went through and whatnot, wasn't Aaliyah like less than half his age when she passed away?
Yeah, of course she was. She was. I swear she was in her 20s when she passed away.
Yeah, she was like 25.
That's rough. Rough, man.
And she was amazing. She had a whole career panned out for her ahead of her. Yeah. She was just on top of the game.
Can you imagine what she would have done in 50 years?
Oh, jeez.
No, she was 22. Man. My bad.
Oh, 22.
Oh my god.
It's
the same. She didn't have recorded stuff that's not released. They could have released posthumous.
Well, she's so young though, and with a singer, it's not like a rapper, is it? Singers aren't really in the studio just singing all the time. They sit at home, they have a little guitar, this and that.
Their ages refine as well as they grow too.
But imagine if Alicia Keys was gone at that age, or
exactly.
Do you know what I mean? Or someone similar to I can't think right now, but it's insane.
No, you're right. Crazy, isn't it? But that's an interesting pick, you know. That is an interesting pick. Mm-hmm. Very different to everything else we've had so far.
That's why I had to pick it. It's very different.
Yeah. That's fair enough.
X raps some weird stuff though. Like on a lot of the albums, there's a lot of deep cuts that are weird tracks.
Yeah, it's a bit weird. He does talk
the one with Marilyn Manson.
That's the weirdest one.
Strange.
Yeah, some interesting crossovers. Did he do something with Limp Bizkit as well?
Yeah. That was sick though. Rolling.
Yeah. Oh my god, that song.
Oh,
if you were a wrestling fan back then.
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus, man.
Huge song. Wow. Okay. So is it me or you, Kieran? Our order's all fucked up. It doesn't matter.
Already. No, Kieran's picked already. It's you.
Oh shit, you've picked. Oh, it's me and Sam. Oh my.
Yeah. I mean, my one's going to be pretty simple. It's already been mentioned in the call, but 4, 3, 2, 1 with LL Cool J. Because I don't really have much else to pick. I feel like that's the most fun he's had on a track. For me, the way he started singing at the end was just like, it made me laugh when I was listening back to all this.
He loved the posse cut.
Yeah, he killed it.
Loved it, man.
Killed them. And this came out before his albums as well, so it's kind of like, I don't know why he didn't have more fun like this in more of his songs, but here I guess he just felt a bit more free, like this isn't part of my project, I can just do what I like.
Yeah. Well, I feel like if you're hopping on a track with a bunch of other people, it might feel a bit weird to get really introspective and start talking about your personal, experiences and that. Do you know what I mean? It's more when you're on a track like that, you're just trying to kind of show off your lyrical ability.
One thing, though, about DMX, I forgot he was from New York until I started re-listening to this. I was like, oh shit, this guy's from New York, and it makes me wonder, like, why was he not more involved with other people around him? Because I feel like everybody else in the rap circle in the 90s was more involved with each other than DMX was with other people, like, if that makes sense.
He kind of did. He worked a lot with the Locks. He worked a lot with... Yeah, he's got a few tracks with Jay-Z. I
mean, like, going forwards from there, do you know what I mean?
But New York, like I said earlier, New York was a bit mad in the 2000s. It was just, everyone was kind of at each other.
He did feature 50 Cent, though. Like that Shot Down track.
Yeah, Shot Down.
With Styles P as well. Yeah. But, yeah, I know, it seemed like New York, there were just beefs going on left, right, and centre at that time.
Fair enough. I guess he was
all intertwining.
Yeah.
Or maybe he was just doing his own thing, man. Maybe he was, I mean, I know he was big on the movies and obviously he had his own problems, but I can imagine him just not really giving a fuck about all
just
that.
Being a bit of a loner.
A lot of rappers front. Yeah, a lot of rappers front, and I feel like DMX wasn't a fronter. He didn't have any time for all that bullshit.
To some extent, like his single he released in '91 flopped. That's why he went into he got dropped from his label, so he had to beg a lot of features in the '90s until the point when he got to do It's Dark and Hell Is Hot. So from that point, when your career actually starts, it's like, I don't really want to chase these features anymore. I don't need to do them anymore.
Fair enough. Yeah, that's a good point.
What was that first single called? Born Loser?
I haven't even listened
to it. That's ironic if that's what it's called.
Yeah. Something like that. Born Loser, yeah. Okay. Well, my final pick, I found like a compromise. So my pick is from this time period, but it's a feature. And it's actually a verse from a song of his called Bane Is Back. But the track I've chosen, I just like the song. It's called Foolish by Burner.
What a banger.
Trust me.
Yeah, when I found this, I was like, oh my God, have I not heard this one? But first of all, I just want to say the beats. I love the beat. Yeah. I couldn't find who did it as well. I couldn't find a producer.
Whoever does Burner's beats is the best, because 2014, he had this mixtape called 20 Joints, and I slapped that like it was the newest thing going. Like, it was such a hard project.
Yeah, Burner's underrated. He's definitely underrated. He's got very good ear, very good beat selection. Yeah, this one to me was like, I'm not sure when it was recorded. It sounds like it was definitely within the last 3 or 4 years, because there is a bit of a difference in his voice, but it was just a sort of something similar to what you said, Kieran, like a kind of rare moment of like when he's in his element, he's still got it. And the hook as well, again, just to go back to the hooks, just great, man. Great. Yeah.
I guess at this age he's at now, like we know his health had declined to the point where like his body gave up at 50. So he's close to like his body's lifeline, end of the life at this moment. And it's like, he has to find those moments where his health is on a good day to record. Like it's so inconsistent. That's why we've got so many like poorly recorded tracks, and like randomly he's got a good day. So he's like, oh, let me record this, but you can't record like 20 tracks in one day. So it's just inconsistent, but yeah, elements there.
I mean, if we're going to talk about how did his discography hold up as a whole compared to everyone that came out around the same time as him, I think it's there. Like, if we were to do a ranking of Discogs, people that started in the 90s and that were still releasing music until now, he's up there. He hasn't really dropped in quality as far as what I can see and what I've heard. Did he drop his work rate? Yeah, but that's natural as you get older, isn't it? Especially with how you sing and stuff.
If someone put him in their top 10 rappers, I wouldn't like think that's weird, to be honest.
No, I see it.
Yeah, I'd understand it.
Yeah, I would understand it. I wouldn't be mad at it. Definitely not mad at it.
He's that sick.
Yeah.
There's a power to him. There's
a lot of things, to be honest. He's got facets.
Yeah, and that's one thing from doing this that's not so much made me realize, but reminded me of, like, again, if we're talking about what makes a great rapper, the different attributes, the amount of boxes he ticks. You know, he's no doubt one of the greatest to ever do it. But I mean, in terms of the discography thing, I can quickly go through those names again and see like where we think he holds up. So, for instance, Mace. I mean, that didn't go well.
Nope.
No.
Capone and Noriega, after the first album, I don't really know much about them.
Nope.
Puffy, it's a different, you can't really confirm there. The Firm, one album, didn't last. The Locks, I mean, I don't know if they really hit like X did. No, they didn't. Big Pun, I mean, that's a sad one as well.
Big Pun is sad, man. He had potential, man, but his health conditions,
It's
he
just obesity, isn't it?
He just eating too much, man. He needed.
Sorry.
I'm sorry.
Cut out that laugh. I beg.
I'm sorry. I'm just saying straight facts. He was eating too much, man. The doctors told him to stop eating. My man was eating way too much. Got obese, and then I'm just gonna call it out. I don't care, man. The guy, like, rest in peace to Big Pun, but he was eating too much. I don't care.
Way too much.
He was eating.
Donnie said, "What, you think I'm eating too much? Yeah, I could eat way more."
He got way overweight. It was a joke. He made Fat Joe look skinny, man.
Oh, that's too much.
Oh,
That's too much. That's way too much.
oh man, rest in peace, Big Pun.
Can we say that after saying all that? I don't think we can, man. I think we've gone too far.
We don't deserve to, you know.
Man.
Cameron had a good career.
Yeah,
I think
career,
It wasn't compared to DMX though.
No.
At all.
No. When you look, when we go back
If we're
over the
talking
discography,
hits,
probably not.
maybe hits, but not even really.
No, I don't. Yeah, I agree. I mean, Cameron had a run. There was a time where he and Dipset were, incredibly influential. But yeah, DMX's discography, man. And the only other one is Cannabis, and definitely not. Ton of potential and didn't really live up
would you
to
say Jay-Z is a contemporary as well for him? I feel like
you could say that. His debut was only 2 years before DMX's.
They were both active from early 90s as well.
Yeah.
Bear that in mind.
It's strange. Maybe I'm on my own here, but I always feel like when we talk about generations of rappers, I tend to put Jay in with like Nas and Biggie and people like that, even though they came out another 2 years before him. But he's kind of like in between, I guess.
I don't think Jay sees himself as like the Nas generation, because like he sampled Dead Presidents. For Nas, it was kind of like, I'm the next gen bringing this new sampling this classic from back in the day kind of thing.
Yeah, maybe he was the beginning of what DMX is in, if that makes sense, like early.
Yeah, that's true.
Because he wouldn't be in the same bracket as Wu-Tang and all those types of people that were...
No, it's too early.
You see what I mean?
No. But although, Jay-Z is one of the sort of at the forefront of that whole mafioso movement. And just a year before that was Raekwon with his album, which we discussed a bit before. It felt, that's why for me it's weird. It's like Jay-Z's in this kind of middle for me, in between the two, this crossover. Yeah. But no, rest in peace, DMX, man. It was sad, but really good fun going over that music again, and even like listening to some stuff for the first time. Yeah, what an incredible artist, man.
I wanted to do this Discog discussion because we deserve to give him that respect, and I do love him, and I loved him a lot growing up as well. But I didn't realize the discography banged this hard, like singles. But then the craft of those first 5 albums is just incredible.
100%. You couldn't touch on it any better, really, because I'm the same. Like, I always knew about his singles and his bangers, but the discography as a whole, it's just phenomenal. There was a reason why they said he was one of the best, if not the best rapper during those late 90s to early 2000s, really, because, just some of the stuff he was coming out with was just amazing, really.
I wish I put It's Dark and Hell is Hot on that list we made now, the best debuts.
Hey, this is Sean, and thanks for listening. We have a bit of an announcement to make. We are now on Discord. Join us to get in on the discussion after each episode. You'll also be able to suggest new content and talk all things rap and hip-hop with myself, Sam, Kieran and Theo. The link is in the show notes. And shout out to all our listeners in India. Our prayers go out to you during these difficult times. Take care.